Welcome back. You're watching NewsX. My name is Vineet Malhotra. NewsX's sister newspaper has revealed that Pakistan seeks to further escalate tensions and provoke more attacks to inflame the fire of war. According to highly reliable sources, Pakistan's intelligence agencies have already completed planning two more major attacks, which they are likely to execute soon. According to these sources, the first plan is to orchestrate an attack in a major Indian city in a way that damages relations between Afghanistan and India. One individual involved in this plan was arrested by Afghan forces some time ago, and fake Afghan passports were recovered from him. The plan is reportedly still under consideration, and Pakistani agencies may implement it at any time. Earlier on 9th March, the Sunday Guardian had put out an article basis credible sources that Pakistan had directed former jihadist organizations such as Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed to resume operations in Pakistan. Exactly 42 days later, the heinous Pahalgam terror attack took place. So, has Pakistan and its venomous intent become predictable? And India's new doctrine, how is that going to come into play if Pakistan continues with this pathology? Mr. R.V. Asmani, former Under Secretary, Ministry of Home Affairs, with us on the show. Mr. N.K. Sood, former RAW officer, joins us on the program as well. Professor Madhav Nalapat, editorial director of the Sunday Guardian, also with us on the program. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here. Professor Nalapat, this is obviously good. This is good journalism, but the fact of the matter is that knowing Pakistan and the way they function under a state-sponsored terrorism blanket, it is only a matter of time before they provoke India again. In your assessment, sir, do you think the flexing of muscles that India has done and the new doctrine that we have come up with, that any terror attack on Indian soil, if traced back to Pakistan, will be an act of war, is not enough deterrent for Pakistan to discontinue?
Well, Vineet, the problem is that the Pakistan military lives in its own world. They live in their own bubble, and reality very seldom enters that bubble. Even the Pahalgam attack, it has nothing to do with Afghanistan or China. The Pahalgam attack, frankly, showed that they don't understand the importance of good relations with India to the economic future of Pakistan. The very future of Pakistan as a united country, the very future of Pakistan as even not even moderately prosperous, but ceased to be struggling country, depends on good relations with Pakistan. They don't realize that. And I must say that, in terms of the strategic planning, Afghanistan under Taliban is very friendly to India. This will be a great source of worry and unhappiness in GHQ, Islamabad, because they groom the Taliban so much. But even back when the Taliban took control in 2021, I had mentioned there are 6 groups in the Taliban, 1 under the control of Pakistan, 2 under the control of China, and 3 what I call free Taliban. And the huge bulk of young people were in the 3 free Taliban, neither beholden to Pakistan nor China. And they proved that by their outreach to India. So I want to say that it's good that the article was published, and it shows splendid journalism. And I'd also like to point out that, we have to be definitely on our guard, but they live in their own bubble. Having said that, there's no reason whatsoever to panic. I'm sure security agencies are fully cognizant of the situation, and I'm sure they're acting very vigorously against suspected terror modules. So I don't see any reason for us to panic, because the very indeterminate, any city, it can happen at any time. Well, these are really not very specific, if I may say so. They're very general, and I don't see any reason to panic at all. I think work should go on as before. The whole intention of Pakistan is to somehow derail the Indian success story, the Indian growth story, and the trajectory of India towards a 4 trillion economy and then a 10 trillion economy. So nothing should affect that trajectory, and certainly the government will be doing everything in its control to ensure that that trajectory remains on course and is not harmed by this kind of attempt. And the next time around, I think Pakistan as a country is going to regret it. The people are going to regret it. And I certainly hope that they understand that. The Prime Minister is very forthright in what he said. Very, very forthright. Right there in the public television, in front of the whole world. And it's not just a closed door meeting. It's not just an in-camera meeting, but there and to broadcast to the whole world. So the whole world is on notice that Terroristan is on notice, and that India next time around will not just take, proportional steps, but will take whatever steps are needed to completely eliminate the source of terror and eliminate this problem. And frankly, that will sharply accelerate the breakup of Pakistan into Pashtunistan, into Balochistan, and into Sindh, at least these three provinces. And besides, of course, the people of POK rebelling against the authority of Islamabad. So I think, they are, as I said, in their own bubble, so we can never say, but let's not panic. Let's remain on course. Let's work hard to ensure that the economy grows. So the economy grows, all of us will benefit. Thank you, Vinny.
Absolutely. Great points, sir. Mr. Mani, Pakistan has lost a number of wars to India. And the fact of the matter is that, they came up with this proxy ecosystem because they cannot match India when it comes to conventional warfare. And this was the same example and precedent when it came to Operation Sindoor as well. They were completely decimated, but they of course are lying to the world about how they performed and what they did. But the Western media and experts have paid testimony to the fact that it was India that had an upper hand. I think this blow, Mr. Mani, is even deeper than the blows that we have given them in the past. Do you think that the sinister reaction when it comes to upping this proxy ecosystem is going to be much bigger this time by Pakistan?
Thank you, Vineet. Thank you for that. In fact, I wanted to flag certain things. Dr. Narapat had touched upon most of the very salient points in which we are into that. Pakistan has its own internal problem of balkanization. Different units are trying to separate away, run away from the Pakistan, whole greater Pakistan. That is one challenge which they are not able to address. They are not able to solve it themselves. And there is a very interesting thing about Pakistan that in India, the IB chief or R&AR chief or a chief of army staff or a CDS is subservient to the democratically elected political leadership. That is not the case in Pakistan. The ISI and the DG of ISI and the military is much superior to the whatever political facade of a political leadership they give. So that being the case, they do not bother for diplomatic conventions. They care too hoot for anything else. Sharif may go and negotiate something, but that will not be bothered by Asif Munir or somebody else, and they are going to go on a suicidal or destructive path. So but that should not bother us for the simple reason, even in the normal course vis-a-vis Pakistan, we have certain essential security always present. And in terms of these critical areas, the essential security, basically multiple doctrines, the calibrated. We up it repeatedly based on the threat perception, the intelligence and the actionable intelligence reports and all that. We keep on upping it, but so as a result of that, they have not been very, very successful on several attempts, which generally go unreported. There are several attempts they keep on happening, which go on one or two attempts, which they are able to make it a dent. There, see, Mr. Sood will be telling you, the intelligence, preventions and preempting of several attempts have happened, which go unreported, which is not to be shared with the public for obvious reasons. Having said that, Pahalgam or Pulwama gets reported high, and Pakistan terror organization themselves claim success. On that, they receive a bloody nose from the present leadership, because the present leadership is much superior, much resolute, I would say, not superior, much resolute about handling terror, because the same resources were there, the same armed forces were there with the previous leadership, but they were reluctant. But after India, after Modi, has been a very resolute leadership, and that is the reason Pakistan, if at all they try to do any mischief, they will have a bloodier face, bloodier nose than what they had in the Pahalgam aftermath. After Operation Sindoor, the Honorable Prime Minister has clearly told that when a single act of terrorism will be treated as a war on Pakistan, because as you are trying to say that they are not directly confident of facing Indian defense forces in a conventional war, they are taking to what within quotes they call it as non-state actors, or I would call it non-state actors sponsored by states. Because I have replied parliament questions on this, saying that POK based terror outfits sponsored by ISI, so all these things are there. It is all a matter of record. They sponsor it. We are very much aware of it. Notwithstanding the fact that whatever they may say, now the cat was out of the bag. The recent attack when our count during Operation Sindoor, when the Pakistan army officers were pallbearers in the funeral of dead terrorists, dictated dead terrorists. So this being the case, but now the question comes is, how is it that they are going to involve China? China care to hooter, they don't bother for anything more than their own economic prosperity. They are like typical businessmen. What America was 20 years back, now they are businessmen. They will treat for their own product, their own investment, and ultimately put Pakistan, like Sri Lanka had suffered. Pakistan is still suffering because part of their economic condition is because of too much of involvement of Chinese into their business and economics. So that is the reason their economic shambles are perpetuated or aggravated as a result of that. So let us not bother about that. If they are going to involve China, let us be under no illusion. There was a myth before 2014 that Chinese army was superior, but Doklam settled the issue. We are at par an army or a defense force with the Chinese. So they would also not, and they also have a lot of economic interest in India. So I do not think they will go beyond a certain stage to partner China to wage a war on India. So that appears, although your reports are outstanding, I would not say, because the 9th March report also had proven true. China will show some sort of involvement, pamper them, but ultimately Pakistan will be a bigger loser. Nobody is a winner in the war, but all Pakistan will certainly win. But the question is, will the juggernaut of Modi's development get affected? I think that is the entire purpose of all these things. Some world leaders are now joining Pakistan, so that is also because India is almost threatening to come to the number 2, top economies, growing economies in the world. The juggernaut, I call it juggernaut of Modi's development, that they want to stop it. That is the basic reason. Thanks.
All right, sir. Let me also rope in Mr. N.K. Sood, former RAW officer, into this conversation. Mr. Sood, you know, the Operation Sindoor was a collective, synergized efforts between our intelligence agencies and the armed forces. What do you think, in light of this information that has been positioned by the Sunday Guardian, needs to change or needs to go up, considering the fact that Pakistan is looking for blood now after suffering this huge humiliation at the hands of India?
Actually, Pakistan's agenda, Pakistan's army's agenda, what is the agenda? They want to keep war with India on their, that is the first agenda that the Pakistan army has. If Pakistan army has to survive, they have to fight with India, if not full war, at limited war. In this war, Pakistan has lost, there's no doubt about it. And it was a successful operation launched by our intelligence agencies and our defense forces. Pakistan was defeated, but that is immaterial. Pakistan was not defeated first time, Pakistan has been defeated at numerous times, you know. But now, Pakistan will not bend its way. If Pakistan doesn't fight with India or doesn't keep that agenda on as the first agenda, then Pakistan army will lose. If Pakistan army has to survive, then they have to keep this agenda of as India is our enemy and we have to fight against them. They have to keep that active. That's one thing. Second thing is, now China has promised Pakistan that they will deliver Pakistan 5th generation aircraft, 40 aircraft. They will fastly deliver that to Pakistan. And other issue is, now China is also entering Bangladesh. Bangladesh had offered its airbase to Pakistan, to China, and Chinese officials, they are visiting Bangladesh to inspect that airbase, which is close to Chicken Neck. And why Pakistan is encouraged? The main reason for Pakistan being encouraged is that they have found a old ally, new ally, that is US. How the US gave Pakistan money? They gave Pakistan $2.3 billion. And that is a big support from US to Pakistan. And secondly, Pakistan also released $1 billion to Bangladesh. And thirdly, US officials are always already in Myanmar. And a plane full of equipment, 25 CIA personnel are already in Myanmar to support the Arakan army against the Janta. Janta is supported by China. But if US has a base close to India, or CIA has presence close to India, it is more dangerous for India. US had wanted to establish a base at Trincomalee Island. When Indira Gandhi was in power, Indira Gandhi asked the Raw Chief to do something, and India raised LTT so that there is no peace in Trincomalee, and they were not able to establish that base. If America has a base close to India, it is dangerous for India, and now the US is entering Myanmar. Thirdly, US also wants to use Pakistan's base, which India attacked, I think which the F-16 bombers were there, because US plans to attack Iran from that base. So there is a close friendship between US and Pakistan at this time, and which is encouraging the Pakistani army, and Pakistan army is on the front foot. They will never stop. They will never stop terrorism against India, and India will also not stop. India is not afraid. India is not disturbed. And there was a news that one more Pakistani terrorist, he was killed by unknown gunman. I think it's the news of today morning only. So India is also doing their job, and Pakistan is also doing their job. If Pakistan has found a new friend in US, Donald Trump's statement, and Pakistan hopes that if it keeps fighting with India, they'll get the support of the Arab world. Let us see how the things develop in the future.
Okay. Sumit Peer, senior political commentator, also joins us on the program. Sumit, what do you make of this report that Sunday Guardian has put out, that Pakistan is going to go back to its old ways? It's not only going to try and up the ante between these two countries, but is also going to try and spoil relationship between India and other nations, for example, Afghanistan.
Thank you very much for having me on your show. Sorry, I got stuck somewhere and I could not join properly, but I'm managing somehow. You see, Vineet, the issue is that Pakistan is never going to change. The army of Pakistan believes that it's a civilizational war. They don't consider it anything else. And until the time that the concept of civilizational war doesn't die, the army is not going to stop. And there are enough people in the Islamic world which would want this war to continue. America just joined the picture. What has happened from, Yahya Khan to Asim Munir? 70, 60 years, 20 generals changed, same mentality, same thought process. Everything about them is same. We have to understand this is a war which is independent of generals. It doesn't matter if it's a Munir or a Yahya Khan or a Ziaullah. Everybody comes and is born and dies with the same dream, that Ghazwa-e-Hind. That is what they want. And if you look at what your publication, your sister publication is claiming, I won't be surprised, because this has been the dream of Pakistan. The way we humiliated Pakistan, the way we dismantled their army, the way we dismantled Chinese equipment and even some of the American equipment. Now, these people are gunning for blood. They're looking for blood. Why? Because if they are in this position, they will lose this 4G Foundation, Askari Bahariya, $100 billion of business, $20 billion of profit, controlling 33% of Pakistan GDP, uncontrolled kings of Pakistan, and they will also lose the narrative in the Islamic world, which is badly shaken. Islamic bomb, Ghazwa-e-Hind, we will protect Islam, we will protect Muslims of the world. That all narrative will get lost. And if that narrative gets lost, the sole purpose of Pakistan and its army gets lost. Let's not forget what is the motto. Iman, taqwa, jihad fizibillah. We believe in the Allah and will do jihad in the name of Allah. So when this is the motto, what of the Pakistani army has been from the day one for last 75 years, every general, every sipahi, or every foot soldier believes in that, and that is what the foundation is. This is how the source code is written. With such a radicalized source code, what do you expect them to do? And they can't get defeated by Hindus. They can't get defeated by the Indian army. They can't get humiliated in the Islamic world. Just to maintain that aura and to maintain the stability, they will come and fight again. They don't mind with whom you spoil the relations or you make relations, because ultimately India is their perpetual enemy and it will remain enemy till eternity. Isn't Hamas and Hezbollah believe that till any Jew is alive, then Akhirat or Qayamat will not come? So don't they say that we have to annihilate Jews, we have to annihilate Israel for the Qiyamah to come? Doesn't a country like Iran support them for that? Doesn't a country like Iran tell you that Israel should be wiped off from the planet Earth because this is what their religious teachings tell them, and because of the day and Qiyamah and Yahud. So these are some which are the civilization wars, and the world has to realize what kind of wars you're fighting. Do you think this is about Kashmir? It is not about Kashmir. Give them Kashmir, kal Delhi mangenge. Give them Delhi, they'll ask for MP. They will not even stop at Kerala. Even after Kerala, they will say, still, we want to continue. We have to understand what is the nature of the enemy, what does the enemy want.
What about the new red line that India has just drawn for Pakistan? Is that enough of a deterrent according to you?
Line is good enough. That is why they are shaking and, sorry to use the word, shitting in their pants, because that is why they are itching for all these nefarious activities, because now the nuclear bluff is off. There are a lot of talks of radiation leaks. I don't know why they are enhancing their Kahuta. Why Chashma and Kahuta cannot be filmed? Why are they getting concrete boulders there? Why are they doing a lot of things which are highly suspicious in nature? And when that nuclear bluff is not there, Pakistan is not there. When nuclear deterrence is not there, Pakistan is not there. And when Indian army could bloody whack through their own defenses in 2.5 years, that Islamic supremacy is shattered. That concept of Pakistan gets challenged, and that is what is baffling their hearts and minds. Whatever we tried to build for the last 70 years and tried to showcase as a case of Islamic supremacy to the world is shattered by Hindu army, India's Hindu army in what, 2.5 hours? This is the thought these mullah generals cannot live with. And Vineet, you know, I am candid. Jab Desh aur Dharm ki baat aati, I talk very directly. Let's not beat around the bush and there's some geopolitical turns and twists. There's absolutely no turn. This is what they are. And let me tell you one more thing, Vineet. The problem with the Pakistanis is this Hindu hatred, this hatred against India on which they are groomed. How many armies do you have this motive, Iman, Taqwa, Jihad, Fizibillah? When the Jihad, Jihadi and army, they are the synonyms, they are embedded in their
Right,
DNA.
Sumit.
You don't know where one started and
Right,
where
Sumit.
and second stops.
You're absolutely right. Well, we've run out of time. This is obviously a startling bit of news that's been dug up by some stellar journalism that we discussed. Would like to thank all our guests and gentlemen, thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. We take a short break. Be right back.